All right, now last night, after the Jacksonville thing was percolating, that's 3 African Americans gunned down by a racist maniac who then commits suicide, Biden addressed it. Go.
And as I've said to the country, we can't let hate prevail, and it's on the rise. It's not diminishing. Silence, I believe, we've all said many times, silence is complicity. We're not going to remain silent. And so we have to act against this hate-fueled violence, and you saw what's happening there. By the way, almost 5 years to the day that 5 young blacks were killed in Jacksonville 5 years earlier at a gun shop, a store that were doing kids' toys. But you know, and we have to speak out that there's a whole group of extreme people trying to erase history.
It's almost incoherent. I don't know what the toy store was. I don't know what he's talking about. He apparently believes there's this monolithic movement where thousands and thousands of white people are trying to hurt blacks. That's what Biden believes. Okay, I mean, we gave you the stats last night, and it's beyond belief that Biden and Kamala Harris still pushing this nonsense. So I had to deal with this last night on News Nation. You know, News Nation is an interesting new network. It's coming up. You know, it's a slow slog. And I appear on Monday with Leland Vittert, former Fox News alumni, and then on Wednesday with Chris Cuomo. A lot of you have seen that. And I like the tone of the network. They get a lot of information out. And then they bring somebody like me in. I mean, none of the other networks would do that because they're afraid of me. They're not going to bring me in, but they're not. News Nation. Anyway, the conversation was on why this propaganda about white supremacy is taking root in the media. Go.
By modern media standards, hate is only worth covering when it's hate by one kind of shooter, specifically a white male. Bill O'Reilly is here, host of the No Spin News. Bill, you've got more history perspective than I do. How did we get here?
Well, it's a media problem, and it's also a Democratic Party strategy. So the progressive left wants to portray the United States as a racist country dominated by white supremacists. That's the narrative. If you fit into that narrative, then you'll get coverage. If you don't, you won't. So it's not pure skin color. This is politics. Shortly after the Jacksonville murders by this racist loon who committed suicide, Vice President Harris put out a statement, and you talked earlier to a guest about the vice president, and the statement said that African American people are afraid to come out of their homes because they may be confronted by white people with guns. So my staff did a little research, and we led with this on the No Spin News, which you can access on BillO'Reilly.com. Columbia University, certainly not a right-wing institution, put out a psychiatric study that said 15% of all the public shootings in America are generated by racists. And that includes blacks against whites or Asians. 15%. 85% of public shootings are generated by criminals, mostly drug gangs, predominantly African Americans. So the truth is that, yes, in urban areas, many African Americans are afraid to come out because of the violence, but the violence is being driven by minority drug gangs. Now, Kamala Harris knows that because she was Attorney General in California. But she'd never say it because it goes against the progressive narrative. That's what this is all about. And that's what Biden did. Okay, now at this point in his life, Biden believes anything that anybody tells him for 10 minutes and then forgets about whatever the conversation was. Okay, that's not a pass for Biden. But historically, Joe Biden has not been sympathetic to African Americans. That's a provable fact, and I'm going to play you a couple of sound bites now. Now, the man has no core belief system. You saw that on abortion. Here's a Roman Catholic who makes a big deal out of going to Mass, and he turns around and supports abortion on demand for any reason. Whereas maybe 15 years ago, he was pro-life. But now he's flip-flopped because his progressive masters want abortion on demand. So in the racial terms, this is fascinating. Again, one of the reasons that you watch and listen to me is that I combine journalism with history. So you'll remember a man named Senator Strom Thurmond, South Carolina, one of the biggest racists ever to serve in the U.S. Senate in modern times. So Thurmond was very powerful. In 1957, he tried to kill the Civil Rights Act. He failed. Eisenhower signed it. And then again in 1965, an updated Civil Rights Act. Thurmond again tried to kill it. Here's what Joe Biden said about Strom Thurmond. Go.
Strom Thurmond is in every respect a son of the South. And as it was said of Robert E. Lee, Strom is an opponent without hate, a friend without treachery, a statesman without pretense, a soldier without cruelty, and a neighbor without hypocrisy. That's been the story of my relationship with Strom. We're occasionally referred to as the odd couple.
Okay, so if he is an opponent without hate, why would he, Strom Thurmond, try to block legislation that would help African Americans? He must dislike African Americans. What other reason would there be? So Biden was buddies, not just, hi, how are you? They're pals. And he was also pals with a number of other Southern racists in the Senate. Roll the tape.
I never thought I'd develop deep personal relationships with men whose position played an extremely large part in my desire to come to the Senate in the first place to change what they believed in. Eastland, Stennis, Thurmond, all these men became my friends.
And none of them were unrepentant about hurting black Americans. None of them. While they were in the Senate. But they're Biden's friends. So would Joe be friends with a white supremacist? I don't know any white supremacists in the Senate. I don't think there are any. Would he be friends with them? So Biden is a man of no seasons. He has no core belief. Right now, he is being totally driven by the progressive left. He's almost a captive, but it's not against his will. And this is, the hypocrisy of Joe Biden is absolutely stunning. And what his core belief system allegedly is and what he has done in his life. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.